Most companies run on the operating systems. Salesforce for customers, Slack for communication, and Excel for numbers. And companies invest millions to install these operating systems and train their employees or their teams. But there is one operating system which is not installed deliberately. That is underneath, beyond every strategy that you make, every moment of pressure that you face, and every decision your team leader makes. That is nervous system. All the high performers focus on improving their strategies, skills, and decision making power, but they rarely focus on the nervous system, how to enhance it. Today, we are going to focus on that. We will learn how to change it. Hello, my name is Sai Krishna Byra, Neuroscience Performance Coach, US Army veteran, and founder of Byra Conscious. I help high performers, executives, entrepreneurs understand their nervous system to improve their focus, resilience, and decision making clarity and overall well being. Welcome to the week 4. Over the past 3 weeks, we learned why people break, why people react under stress, and why patterns form under stress. So today we are going to learn something different. This is where this series change. Today we are going to learn what is the operating system that we need to adopt in order to respond instead of react. For example, let's take the operating system. Operating system doesn't do the work. It determines what runs in the foreground and what runs in the background. And it creates a conducive environment for how things manage and how things work. In the same manner, leaders who perform under stress think they have a personality trait. They think either their nervous system is fixed this way or that way. No, not exactly. Neuroscience says a different story. Neuroplasticity, the concept of neuroplasticity, proves that prefrontal cortex, the executive part of the brain, can be altered by practice, by the repeated behavior. It is a pattern of neural connectivity. Depending on what neural connectivity you practice, that will shape your personality. For example, how your operating system manages the complete environment, your nervous system manages your cognitive resources. It determines whether you are performing from the threat mode or from relaxation mode. The question is not whether you have an operating system. The question is, are you running it deliberately or is it running you? Most of the performance advices fail for the high performers. Take a vacation, that's a reboot. Relax on the Sunday. That doesn't change the old configuration of the operating system on Monday. Practice meditation for 21 minutes. That's a valuable advice, but that doesn't determine how you respond or react in the afternoon 3 o'clock meeting in the difficult boardroom conversation. Do the affirmations. It's a genuine advice, but it works only at the software level, not at the hardware. The right system to change is the ANS, autonomic nervous system. It can be changed only through breath, repetition, and movement. And NIH determines the neuroplasticity has the ability to reconfigure how you think and how you respond to the external or internal stimuli. That reorganization requires repetition at the right level of the system, not affirmations, not mindset shifts. Repeated physiological practices that reach autonomic nervous system directly. Here is the 4-step framework. Together, they form a leadership protocol, not a wellness ritual. First step, recognize your body responds before your mind reacts. any threat. Observe jaw tightening, chest tightening, and breath shortening and shoulders rising. These signals are very important when you are in threat mode. Recognizing them is a crucial step in the first part of the framework. For example, take a experienced pilot who has 15, 20 years of experience. He has clarity and confidence about how to drive a flight. But if he ignores the instrumental panel, what happens? Can he drive safely to the destination? No, right? In the same manner, recognizing these body signals is first step in regulating it, in addressing it. Because most of the times we suppress these body signals by saying that, hey, let's get confident, suppress the feelings, overcome it, no need to worry about the psychological emotion. So, all these things, we say it and suppress the body signals. That is one of the detrimental thing we are doing ourselves. Without recognizing these body signals, we cannot regulate our mind or how we respond. Second step, regulate. This is where neuroscience gets specific. HRV, heart rate variability. Heart rate variability is the metric that can be used to measure your calmness, your attention, memory, and also better executive function. People who have higher HRV tend to think better, respond better, and make better decisions. How do you achieve highest HRV? What it exactly does? If you increase the HRV, it activates the parasympathetic mode of the ANS, autonomic nervous system, and it makes you perform better in all the executive functions. So there is a simple practice called 5 to 7 breathing ratio, keeping your exhalation longer than inhalation so that it will activate your vagal nerve, and vagal nerve activates your parasympathetic mode of the nervous system, which is relaxation mode of the nervous system. When you are more relaxed, your creativity is better, your response nature is much better. So the practice here is take inhalation for the count of 5 through your nose and exhale for the count of 7 in your mind, and the counting pace is up to your own speed. And this practice is not a wellness ritual that you don't need to do it every day, but do it whenever you are feeling stressed and whenever you need it. Just under 60 seconds, available to you anywhere, everywhere. And third step is respond. Now you will respond to the same situation from this regulated nervous system. Same situation, same pressure, but different response. So that is where you really create the difference in how you respond, but not forcing or not changing the situation. It is by responding it from a different regulated state. In 1949, Canadian neuropsychologist proposed a principle that is repeated in modern neuroscience. Neurons that fire together will wire together. Once you keep repeating this framework, recognize, regulate, response, and repeat, then it will become your nature of the nervous system, how you respond or how you deal with situations under pressure, stress, and highly important board meetings. First time when you do it, it requires effort. 10th time when you do it, it requires less effort. On the 100th time, it will be automatic. That is what we are achieving through this 4-step framework. Recognize, regulate, respond, and repeat. Now I want to leave you with one question. If you are a leader and if your nervous system is operating your leadership, Now, I would like you to ask one question. Sit with one question, not a framework. Just close your eyes and ask yourself, what would you change if you take control of your nervous system? How would you run your team meetings? How would you respond instead of react? Think of these questions. This is the question, single question worth asking if you are a leader whose decisions matter. The framework I shared is one of the step in the CEF, Conscious Energy Flow breathing course. That breathing course is not a wellness ritual, not a spiritual practice. It is the basic foundations targeting the ANS, autonomic nervous system, how to regulate your system and how you respond. So if you want to deep dive into the conscious energy flow, it is just a 5 days course, every day 30 minutes. If you spend 30 minutes for 5 days, you will be learning a powerful breathing techniques that will help you in responding and regulating your nervous system. I'm leaving the course link in the description, and I will also make sure it will be available in the bio. Thank you so much, and I see you in the next week.